So we are going to create a student database today. We're going to collect a blank database once we load up Access, and we need to make sure that we choose to save it into our documents or our H drive. So we load up our documents here. We need to come down to this PC and make sure we select our H drive or our documents. If an error message comes up, just click OK. Make sure you go to the H drive. We're going to click a new folder. We're going to call this Year 9 Databases. We really want to save this in a sensible place. So if you haven't already got a computer science folder, you probably want to create that first. And we're going to call it TTA Timetable. And I'm going to click OK. Make sure that our file names come up with our H drive and in the correct folder, and our file name is correct, and we're going to click Create. So it creates a new table for us. This is blank, and what we want to do is change this into design view, so we can change it and it will ask us for a table name, and we want to start with TBL. We always start with this prefix because it helps us identify that in our list on the left hand side, or if we're looking for it, that TBL stands for table. I'm going to put student details and click OK. Now it's already started us up, and we've got our validations information down here, and on the right here we've got our property information, and here we've got our field names, pick our data types, and descriptions, which just helps anybody else who might be working with it, or if we come back to it in a couple of months time or years time, or a long period of time, a bit of information to help us. So first thing is set up with this key, which means it's a primary key, and I'm going to give it a bit more information, and I'm going to call it a student ID. I want to keep it auto number because the computer will always make sure that it is a unique number. I'm going to call the first one first name, and I want that to be short text. I'm going to change the length field size to 50, and I'm going to make it a required field so you can't leave it blank. I'm going to do the same for surname. Short text, I'm going to make it 50. I'm going to make it a required field. Yes. I am then going to get the gender, and this is going to be short text, and I'm just going to set the field size to 1 here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to lookup wizard, and this is going to create a validation for me, and I'll show you what this does in a minute. So it's going to run a wizard, and I want to type in the values that I want myself, and I'm just going to have M or F, male or female, and I'm going to click next. I'm going to call this gender, and I want to make sure I limit to the list so people can't type anything else, and I want to do not allow multiple values because you can only be male or female in this example of this database, and that's just for simplicity to show you what validation is. Then I'm going to click finish. Now what I'm going to do is just check at the moment my table's worked. So I must save the table, just click this, and we can see that we've now got our fields in our columns here, and my student ID here. And what I'm going to do is start typing a name, type my own name, and surname, and then our gender. It's got the two lists here, and if I try and type something else, it won't let me. See the length, it won't let me type more than one. So I'm going to put M in here. I want to check my required field length, so I'm going to leave my second one, I'm going to leave it blank. And I'm going to put the next one, Fairburn. And must enter a name for table student, first name, field. Now that's okay, I'm just going to delete this row. Type anything, makes me type something. Because I actually didn't like that message, that wasn't a good message. So I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to go to design view, And I'm going to go back to my first name and see where it says validation text. What I'm going to put here is you must enter a first name, exclamation mark. I'm going to do the same for surname. Now I want to come back here, save the table, I'll try to type in anything, I'll move on to the next line. Check, did I not save that properly? Okay, so we saw that isn't working, so we've done something wrong. So what we need to do here is we can keep this as yes, but in the validation rule we need to type something special, which is not null. And null's a special word for nothing. It means that nothing's in there. And we also want to change allow zero length to no. And then what we can do is come back here, save our table. Okay, and if I try and delete this now and move on, try and do another one. So let's open it like one. Oh, put that in surname. Let's go back and check surname. Let's change that back to no. Let's add this. And now move on. Ah, there you go. It says my custom message. So let's just go back and just double check that for you. If you want to do a custom message, oh, I have to put the surname in. We change the validation rule to is not null. And the text you must enter your surname, the required is no, and zero length set to no. So I'm then going to put in age as my next one, which is going to be a number, and I want some validation on this because it's a secondary school and I don't want to be anyone to be less than 11. So I'm going to put validation what is greater than 10. And again, I'm going to add in a validation text. So what appears, you must be at least 11 years old. Let's go back and test this now. That wants me to save it, yes, and yes, and yes. So I just need to come in here and let's check this. If I put 10, must be at least 10. If I put 11, and it won't let me put in anything less than 10. Now what we should start to see is our validation here works, but it doesn't tell you if it's correct, because I could put 25 in, which will accept that. So how do I change that? So I need to set another rule, and it's a bit like an inequality here, but we're going to use our logical keyword, which we learned, and. So it must be greater than 10 and less than 19. So if I come back here now and save this on age and click yes, I've got some that validates here. So if I change this now to 19, it shouldn't accept it. And I put it to 15, it does accept it. So I've now got a limit between 11 and 18. I've just realised must be at least 11 years old and less than 19 years old. Lovely. So I can then also put things like year group and see if you can remember how to do a lookup. I'll just pause the video for a minute whilst you try and do that. Okay, let's show you how we did that. And then I want to type in the values, and I'm going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Next, I want to limit to the list. There can't be multiple year groups, so I'm going to click finish. That's worked out as short text. That was only one character, so I'm going to put that down as 1. The next thing I'm going to do is postcode. And I want this to be a format check. And what we're going to do here is use. So we're going to do something called a postcode. And we're going to use something called an input mask. Let's have a look how we're going to do this. So you can Google these if there's anything you want to do, like phone number or email address. So you put a greater than sign and then a capital L, which forces it to be a capital letter. Then I want to put in another character letter, because you can get EN or N20, and I'm going to put a question mark there, which is for an optional character. You don't have to put that in, but the greater than forces the uppercase. I'm then going to put a 0, which forces a digit, so EN5 or N20, so I'm going to put a 9, which is an optional letter. I'm going to put a forward slash and then a space, which forces the space to be between like the EN5 or the N20. Then I need a number, which I have to have, which is a 0, and then I want 2 capital letters, so I do the greater than and capital L and greater than and capital L. And here I can add a message. You must enter a valid postcode. And my validation rule is not null. Remember, that means it can't be blank. And let me just count, so I can get 1, 2, 3, 4. The space counts as the character 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to put 10. So my postcode's got to be at least 10 digits long. So I can do another one. Let's put phone, or let's put mobile phone number. And that again is going to be short text. And I'm going to use an input mask, and I want to force it to have 11 numbers. So remember, 0 is to force it to have a number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I then want to force it to have a space, and then 1, 2, 3. Then I want to force it to have a space, so I do the forward slash and the space, and then 1, 2, 3. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space 6, 7, 8, 9, space 10, 11, 12, 13. So my length is going to be 13. And then validation text, mobile phone numbers must have 13 digits in them, starting with 0. So let's try these. So let's go to my datasheet view. I'm going to save it. Yes. So my year groups are now drop down lists. And I can leave those blank because I didn't say that they were optional. Now you can see here my postcode. If I try and type a number in, 4, it won't let me do it. If I put a TT, I can put a 5 as a number, and I can space off the next number. Now I'm going to do, won't let me put a letter in, it will let me put a number, and then Y and Y. And you can play around with this. It shouldn't let me click off these. I'm sure I said that this was not null. Let's try this. Let's try the school one, N20. space N20 and then 8AZ, and then we can do the next one, which is, let's try another one, NW8 5Y 5 oh, I've got a space 7YT. Let's do I can't think of another one. H5 6TY. So these all work. Let's look at the mobile phone number, and this won't let me put in any letters, but it will let me put in some numbers. Now, just very quickly, this will let me type in any number. So again, it doesn't check that it's correct, it just checks that it's valid. Now we could write a more complex one, which had a 0 at the front, but unfortunately we can't do that. Let's go back to design view. Let's look at some other things. Let's look at dinner money limit, and then let's say that's going to be currency, and decimal place we're going to set to auto. Currency's fine. We're going to go to default value validation one. We're going to say it must be greater than 0. See if you can remember how to do that. Okay, we're going to put the greater than sign and 0, and let's see if we can set it to less than £10. See if you can remember how to do that. So, and less than £10. So I'm actually going to make it equal to on both. So it's greater than and equal, less than and equal to 10, and greater than and equal to 0. All right. Dinner money must be between 0 and £10. And I don't know what else can I put in. I am going to say can go home alone, question mark, and this I'm going to change to yes or no, which is our toggle box. See, the format is yes or no, don't need to put anything else in. Let's have a look at this. And you want to save your table, yes and yes. I've got our tick boxes for can go home alone. We've got our dinner money here. Let's say try and put £7 in. It puts £7 in. Let's try and put minus £2 in. Shouldn't let's do that. Must be between 0 and £10. Let's put 15 in. Shouldn't let's do that. No. So let's put 10. Check it works on 10. Works on 0. Perfect. And then you can fill out and try practicing that for all different things. Just noticing here, we've got some rubbish information in here, but it is still valid, so it's passed our validation. And make sure we keep saving our database table. And once you've done that, and you've entered 10 people in, you can move on to the extension.